live in the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Miq Strawn.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
Thunderbirds are go. 1966.
When the launch of the mission to Mars goes awry due to sabotage, international rescue is requested to assist in the mission's second attempt. Thunderbirds are go.
So, actually, one thing I noticed about this was the microphone quality.
Yeah.
So different.
So
and then the way people talk, like,
right.
The diction has changed. Has it changed that much?
I've talked about this before.
Because people talking in the 60s.
But people but there was your acting voice.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing is it kind of went from the 60s to the end of the 70s before we really lost the acting voice. And it
was Bonnie and Clyde probably that changed.
Bonnie and Clyde. Everybody claims that Bonnie and Clyde was the first one that lost.
Probably wasn't though. It was probably like a Gene Hackman one. I can't remember.
The Chinatown.
Chinatown was pretty.
Chinatown was pretty
it was
straightforward.
Before Bonnie and Clyde, or I might be wrong.
Yeah, but at the same time, in Chinatown, there was kind of a recreation of it a little bit in terms of them looking back at the same period. You know, back towards the 30s and the 40s. But
the microphones for sure.
Yeah,
too. I mean, I was like, wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the music.
Music, yeah. I was looking through all this stuff because I was like curious about when Thunderbirds Are Go started, and it was actually the first show was Thunderbirds,
right?
And then there was Thunderbirds Are Go,
right?
And then there were only 2 movies made, and then somebody actually redid this and decided we're gonna do it again. So in 2015 they're doing Thunderbirds Are Go, and it's still on the air apparently, or still being new episodes are still
really
being made.
Because I haven't seen any of the new stuff. Here's the thing, I love this because this was coming to ITC was coming. that was the call numbers that would come up. Coming into our houses from Britain,
right,
back in the early 60s.
Yeah.
And
this followed. This is kind of. Isn't this after the series was done, or is it like toward the end?
I think this is towards the end of the series,
right? Because
the original series, I think, was there at 62 and 63. I have to say that you know how we talk to horror people a lot, right? And when we talk to horror people, they say that they get that special feeling, you know, when they see that horror film that really touched them. You know, a lot of them, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, right? You know, and they say,
I think the entity really touched me. Yeah. Sorry, I had to make that joke. It's not really what I was thinking. Anyway.
Good. I'm glad that you just hyped my train of thought.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this was me. This show. I swear I started watching this, and all of a sudden I felt like I was laying down in my sunken. My parents had a sunken living room.
Yeah.
Story time. It's story time with Miq. 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 Story time with Miq.
Right, and we would always. I remember because there's steps here and steps over here, and TV is over here on
like
that
the Incredibles
stand.
Living room, kind of.
Yes, exactly. No, really, absolutely.
Incredibles 2, yeah, they had the sunken living room.
Right, it was the sunken living room. It was 50s. It was made in like 55. It was designed by my mother and father together.
Oh,
and it was a ranch style.
Right, of course it was ranch. Split level
ranch house. And, had a lot of stonework in it that was worked into that. But we also had my dad would only get the 19-inch. It was an RCA 19-inch, and it was on the stand. I mean, you know, like that spindly little, like you wouldn't even think that stand would be able to hold up that TV, and it did all the way up until the 70s, right? And until the late 70s. And that black and white TV was everything to it. I even watched the moonshot. Watch them walk on the moon.
This is perfect that we were watching this movie too, because
this is the 50th,
is the week of
this was the week of the 50th anniversary of the moon landing.
And my daughter was coloring stuff, so she did an astronaut.
Oh, right.
But then the other one that she brought home today was surprising to me because it looks like a Thunderbirds Are GO vehicle.
It does look like wow.
Someone have to work that into our YouTube.
So SpaceX now looks like the original. So
anyway,
the thing is everything in this period was about space.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all. I talked to some people. We were talking about the space bars.
Yeah.
Right. The space sticks.
Yeah.
Right. Which were like the most disgusting Tootsie Roll you've ever seen in your life. You know, only about 4 inches long. Right. And that and Tang. You know, supposedly
Tang was big in the 70s still, so I was drinking Tang.
Well, right, but I mean, so were the space sticks were still around in the.
I don't remember space sticks, but okay.
Yeah, you look them up and you go, oh yeah, that's right. You know, it was sort of like a huge Tootsie Roll, only they came in like strawberry color.
Oh, okay.
and they're just horrible. But the thing is that whole thing goes with the Thunderbirds, and I was just back there in the living room, just looking at it going, wow. And the things that I liked then, all of a sudden I saw it through the lens of everything that I enjoyed back then.
Wow.
And you know what is like that coming together of the spaceships.
Yeah.
You know, like all the and then this piece is coming and they're doing all the great sounds and going around like this, and then another, and then the space pod comes, and it's called space. Everything had space in front of it, right? You know, it's like, well, there's the space doctor. You see the space doctor and the space captain and the space this and the space that, and he's the space biologist, and then that's the space throttle there.
Well, this was 1966, before the moon landing too. So
that's right.
We have to point that out.
Well, yeah, but
there was an obsession about space. Obviously.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is you could just, I loved it. I love the detail of the models.
You look like a little kid right now.
You're
like, I love it.
I loved it. Oh, yeah, right. I mean, the super cheap, my voice is going up, right? The super cheap indoor-outdoor carpet that was in the living room.
Yeah,
and just watching all these pieces come together, and then the rockets taking off.
I was amazed by all the moving parts and all the
but that was what was so cool.
The only flaw was that the palm trees didn't move. Like they could have, you know.
But the palm trees all lift up with the pool, right?
When they show the model of the house, though,
right? The model
there should have been like a breeze or something, you know. But that's my only complaint, really.
But you know what? The funny thing is, if you look at the films that they have out now of like the Thunderbirds going, it surprises me how the medium scale is pretty big. You know, I mean, but the thing is, they had to do all kinds of different scales because that airport. You had to think that airport, you know, with they're like they do one of the parking lot and
the parking lot was amazing.
The parking lot with all those cars and the tracks. Oh yeah, I know.
Powering through there.
What was it called?
So I really
it was
enjoyed that part.
It was the lady and Lady Penelope's butler. Yes, excuse me, ma'am.
Where to, my lady?
And
Mac 1.
And they would always play with frame rates.
Yeah.
You know, like how fast they're filming it, you know, so that they would get that right for that heaviness of feeling. And a lot of times you could tell that they were shooting stuff in reverse and then playing it back because that has more of a it has this bigger feel to it, you know.
You were talking about scale. One thing that really kind of I thought was really entertaining was how the scale of the explosion was bigger than the actual thing itself.
By far, yeah. Because, well, you know, it's always hard to like get an explosion to actually go in scale. One of the experts of that was a good friend of mine, Joe Viscoso.
Oh, okay.
And he's the guy who did the scale explosions for Star Wars and Independence Day.
Okay, cool.
You know, so he just had this way of packing these little tiny explosions that would, you know, it's like the whole explosion would be this big around,
right, yeah.
you know. But at the same time, it's not a perfect scaling thing, you know. And like sometimes, like I noticed that a lot.
Well, these were like almost like doused propane on the outside or something.
Right. Yeah. But they sure did some great ones, didn't they? I mean, like.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to mess with scale too.
And all the little rocket motors that were always going out.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? Like,
yeah.
Like they would be going along, and then that motor over there would just kind of.
Those damn sparklers.
That's sparklers.
Well,
yeah. When they got to Mars, the snake creatures were throwing sparklers, and that's just mean.
The snake creatures. That cracked me up when I saw that. That cracked me up. I'm like, wow. And Mars was gray.
Mars was gray, just gray. It was not red. It was just gray. It was, yeah. It was. It looked very much like the moon.
Yeah. It's almost like they predicted what the moon would look like. Well, minus the snake
they probably
creatures.
shot it on the moon because it was cheaper.
The snake creatures, though.
The snake creatures were great. What? How many eyes does a snake creature have?
The only time I got distracted
just one
was when things were real.
Yes, so like, when the hand would go out.
Well, the fake hands that Penelope had, or no, the real hands that Penelope had.
The real hands that the fake Penelope
I would have
had.
liked it better if they just glued like the teacup to her hand.
Well, you see, they did that on the TV show.
Yeah.
Right. They did that on the TV show. But for some reason on the movie, they wanted.
I've only seen a couple episodes of the show, and I think that was what was missing for me. And
I literally thought to myself this time. I thought I would really like to know who was the hands.
Right.
I would like to see that in the credits somewhere. Hands.
Yeah. And then the waves okay.
And waves and water is so hard to do in miniature.
But it looked so huge, like in the swimming pool. They look too big. So I think anytime you combine real with models, it's really complicated.
It is really complicated. Well, I have done some things like Dreams of Gold.
Storytime. It's Story Time with Miq. Storytime with Miq. Storytime with Miq. Storytime with Miq. Storytime with
The ship sinking for who's that guy that found all the South American gold dollars down? He's
I can't
found all the wrecks.
Yeah.
But
You're talking about the guy that did the show for a while?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Jacques Cousteau, was it?
No. He was the biologist guy. Yeah, he was the biologist guy. Okay. No, this was the guy that was just going for gold.
Okay.
And
I don't know.
So I did the effects with Peter Chesney for that movie Dreams of Gold, and it was like doing the ship sinking in the water, and we had taken a pond, and one of the thing is you would try and add things to like a full pool of water to make it choppier, photo flow, for instance, would make it choppier on the surface, or you would like put a combination of a fan over it, along with just sitting there with a board and slapping the surface, because the board would give you the thing that you start to learn is that there's like 3 or 4 layers of choppiness. Mm-hmm. There's a choppiness on the surface of it, but it's just like a radio wave. You know, like an AM radio wave has this carrier wave that is going at a given rate, but then within that wave, it carries the modulation, right? Okay, well, that's exactly what a wave looks like.
Right.
It has little tiny waves that are sitting on top of bigger waves, and you're trying, and boy, I got to tell you something. As soon as you start to do all that, as soon as you're starting, and you're looking at it this close, it gets complicated.
Right.
After a while, you're trying absolutely everything. You're like, somebody take Phil's face and grab his hair and slap. No, you're slapping his face into the water. Okay, yeah, slap his face into the water. No, okay, now faster. No, I need it choppier. Phil, close your eyes, Phil.
Wow.
Sorry, we just lost Phil. Sorry about that.
Did you think this was too? Okay, I felt like, since I'm not like nostalgic about this at all, really, but did you think that this movie was way too slow compared to the TV show? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
the TV show moved along faster. Well, this was kind of drawn.
The weird thing is this one seemed to have a lot of things happening that didn't tie into each other.
No.
I mean, not only did they blow up the first ship, because they had a saboteur that was wearing. Why was the saboteur wearing the mask?
I don't know.
I mean, he's in the bowels of the.
There's something wrong with your face. I like how he did that. That was an amazing scene,
right?
And then his voice and his stature changed. Everything changed about
everything.
him.
But then there was the first guy that shoe gets caught and he gets away.
The shoe gets caught.
In other words,
he's down away.
Yeah, he was taking. But did you catch that? You see, he's now get this. He's wearing a mask.
Yes.
Right. And he takes the mask off so that he can use the little camera to shoot pictures. And the only reason that the plane actually crashes is because his foot gets caught in the hydraulics, and the shoe crashes the plane. In the meantime, he has jumped out of the plane.
Right, yeah.
That was hilarious.
His bloody foot.
Why? But I'm telling you, the question comes again. Why was he wearing a mask? What difference? I just didn't get it.
In case he got caught.
Yeah, in case you got and here's the thing.
He's like, you don't know me? I work with you down.
So in the end, the plane goes down because of his shoe, right? Which is like there seemed to be like no. In other words, then they had a second saboteur that goes on to the second mission, and he gets caught, and it just happens to like need the emergency crews because. One of the pieces it was a horrible
well, they were
plot.
Rescue team.
Yeah, well, they're the international rescue team. I like
the story with the
Thunderbirds.
The one son, the weak one. He's like,
what about me, Pop?
What about me, Pop?
It's like, you're gonna stay here.
Oh.
He's like, okay.
And, yeah, I know, that was pretty hilarious.
And then he had a love interest.
I
liked his. He was my favorite character.
Yeah, Lady Penelope.
I like the dream sequence with the. The dream sequence where he went into the stars.
That
and
was.
And he's like, I fell on the floor.
That was horrendous.
But I like how he sat up for the floor.
Yeah, but he broke his leg in a wet dream.
Right.
So anyway, I had several notes here that I wanted to put out. I thought it was great that the Thunderbirds had a space station when they couldn't when they were having all this trouble just getting that one ship up. You know, it's like, hey, come on up, guys. It's great up here.
Did you not think this was... One thing I noticed, it looked really clean. Like it could have been done like a year ago or 2 years ago.
Like the orange room. Yeah. The orange room.
Yeah. The table?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was awesome. I mean, boy, what set design. I mean, and all the details and stuff was amazing.
If it wasn't for the microphones and the way they were talking, it totally could have been done today.
Did you remember the phone that she's using?
Yeah.
It was like a dial within a dial within a button.
That was
a dial.
Cool.
It was like a dial that had buttons inside of it that had a bit, and it had the red button in it too.
That was like a challenge to somebody.
That was really. How far can you go with
Once
this?
again, I like all the moving parts. Like when the floor opens up, the guy rode his couch down through the basement all the way into the spaceship, and the couch went into the spaceship.
Exactly.
That was cool.
Did you see? Well, of course, because they don't have legs, really. You know, I mean, it's
and the guy that was laying down.
The thing that also you have to remember that there was so much of it that was connected.
Yeah.
On one side is the space race, and on the other side is like the planes at the end of World War II, and you have like and I didn't notice this until just watching them. You had like the fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Thunderbird 1 looked like a fighter.
And a bomber.
And then you had the bomber, which was the number 3, but then number 2 was sort of like the DC-3, you know. And it's like, wow, you're just seeing all these bits and pieces that obviously, you know, were echoing, you know, planes that were just coming at the end of the war.
I picture all these guys like pulling levers and stuff. It just blows my mind.
Well, man, some of the arrays of switches in there were just astounding.
Some of the behind the scenes stuff are amazing. Like, you know, so that's. Check it out on YouTube.
And the cars in the parking lot. I mean, you know, the thing
I like the car chase. I mean, where they were plowing through the parking lot, running into other cars. Yeah. And so, oh man! And the thing is all those cars didn't look like they looked kind of like cars of the period, but like there wasn't like a 57 Imperial sitting there, but there was like something that was kind of like a 57 Imperial, like, so they bothered to redesign every car that was in that parking lot. Well, artists, you know, they have a budget.
No kidding. Crazy. They really put a lot of money into it. I like the line rarefied air. Yeah. Up where the air is rarefied.
I wish there were more experimental shots, like there was one where the plane came over the camera. That was the only one that
right. How about the one where they're looking behind him? And like you're getting closer to the ground and closer to the ground and closer to the ground.
I wish there were more shots like that, but
and the giant turds on Mars turned out to be the space aliens. I was like, kept looking around, going, "Wow, it looks like eagle turds."
Oh, and I thought the purple, when they were making the phone call and they had the split screen.
Oh, yeah.
I thought the purple was a mistake at first.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is that purple it came in there before they showed the guy?
Yeah.
So I thought it was a mistake, but then I was like, okay, that was a choice, but why didn't they just go straight to the split screen?
Oh, how about the band in the middle of it? Oh, man. Hey, and listen, you know, you think Barbie had all the shit? These guys had all the shit, right?
Yeah, totally.
Barbie had that, you know, Malibu Barbie party house, but these guys had a swimming pool that a rocket came out of.
Here's the best line.
Yeah.
We're under attack from a form of life we don't understand.
Yeah, that's right. What was great is they went up there with guns. We're going to have problems.
That was a lot of exposition. That was like, from a form of life we don't understand.
Form of life we don't understand.
Why didn't they just say we're under attack?
We're under attack. Well, yeah. I love this. This every moment that I was watching this was you know, me with my legs, you know, kicking up behind my stomach, you know, just watching that 19-inch RCA. I was just carried away. I can't help but personally give it a 3.9. I mean a 5. A 5. I'm going to give it a 5.
So this for you is kind of like for what V was for me.
Yeah, exactly.
And my introduction to Robert Englund.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I mean, I didn't know who he was until Nightmare on Elm Street. But I'm saying like years later.
Yeah,
but I remember loving V, and I couldn't miss an episode, and I was like so excited about it. And I haven't watched. I wonder what would happen if I watched an episode now, like one of the old ones.
Well, look at the stuff that I grew up with. I mean, literally, I was the perfect age to be watching the Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
All the original Batman, the Green Hornet.
So you had it made. I had the Fall Guy. I had
right. No, really,
totally. What else did I have?
You had the
the
secondary shit TV. I mean, I had Lost in
V
Space
was pretty
and
awesome.
Star Trek.
And actually,
Lost
my brothers
in Space and Star
My brothers
Trek.
were into. Well, I watched Star Trek. I watched the reruns every day when I was a.
Oh yeah, well,
When I was in kindergarten,
reruns.
I had a girlfriend and we'd go watch Star Trek together after school sometimes. I remember doing that. It's really weird. But my brothers were into Battlestar Galactica. And,
Yeah, well,
they had neighbors across the street that we would go over there, and they would take me with them because they had to babysit
You know what
me.
we used to think about Battlestar Galactica?
was that?
We used to think, well, that's about 10 years away.
Well, we would go across the street, and I had to go because they were babysitting me. But I ended up getting really into it, and then I remember when they canceled it, how upset they were, and they were like involved in the letter writing and all that, like
Right? Oh yeah,
they were talking about letter writings and stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna write a strongly worded letter to
And I
UPN.
found that show on Netflix. I don't know, a couple years ago. I powered through every single episode, and I still love that show.
Oh,
So
there you go.
Battlestar Galactica, it's so cheesy, but it's so good. And then the new Battlestar Galactica, I didn't really. I tried to watch. I watched 2 seasons, and I'm like, I give up.
I have watched some of the Star Trek again and again and again. The original Star Trek. I don't think I can watch them anymore. It just doesn't work.
I've seen
anymore.
those a lot too. I don't think there's anybody who's into science fiction or goes to
Hasn't seen them.
conventions that hasn't seen all
seen
this
them.
Star Treks.
Yeah.
I can still stomach the movies. I can still watch the movies.
But I remember at the time I kind of liked Lost in Space a little bit. It's not that I liked it more. It's just I liked it in a totally different way.
See, that was kind of a Sunday morning show for me, Lost in Space. When I wasn't watching Don Knotts.
No. Lost in Space was on another channel.
Well, I'm talking about like when I was a kid. It was a rerun.
Yeah.
It was my Sunday morning show.
Mine wasn't a rerun.
It was a show they showed before they played the Don Knotts where he turned into a fish, which was one of my favorite movies. But the Mr. Limpet.
The Incredible
love
Mr.
that
Limpet
show.
was such a great film. Really, it was.
I showed it to one of my girlfriends in college. I still like it. I still like that movie. It's not Teen Wolf. It actually holds up.
What does he say when he's looking down the water?
It's really cheesy, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember what he
I could
says.
only be a fish. If I could only,
I could only be a fish. Because he was really into fish.
Yeah, he was really into fish. Yeah.
He had all kinds of fish everywhere.
Listen, later on The Simpsons, that was a problem. Troy McClure had a problem with fish.
Here's a homework
Don't
assignment.
you remember? Don't you remember?
Yeah, I
remember
do.
Troy McClure he got married to an actual woman,
Right.
Which was Marge's sister, right? One of Marge's sisters, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
had a fish problem.
Well, I was going to give Ned an assignment, our favorite listener.
Yeah, Ned.
He needs to go watch Finding Nemo,
Oh.
and then right after that, watch Incredible Mr. Limpet, and tell me which one's better,
Oh, well, maybe the rat could help with that.
because they're so similar. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I didn't rate this yet.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not rating it as high because I felt like it was too slow paced. Like I felt like they took a 30-minute episode and said, "Oh, let's stretch it out so it's a movie. Let's do that."
Yeah.
And then they had like hardly any dialogue, but it was like a lot of like watching
Pieces go together,
pieces
right?
go together,
right?
things move,
right.
which was awesome.
Right.
I just felt like it should. Maybe it's my short-term memory. I feel like it should have been done faster. Like it could have been shortened by half.
You're a waste of human space sometimes, you know that?
But I don't have any other complaints other than I felt like it was too slow. I don't like the human hands. And the explosions were over the top, but I at first was annoyed by it, but then I loved it.
After a while, you just love
Because
it.
the last explosion in the movie was amazing. Mm-hmm. The last crash.
It was, the last
awesome.
crash. Oh, when it took out the town.
Yeah.
and by the way, was that a California town? Did you notice that? I mean, everything else was British, but
Right.
but that town
was definitely a
that was
California
definitely
town.
California.
That was
town.
definitely passive aggressive, wasn't it?
It was. It was. We ain't right. We're not taking out Britain. No. We'll send it up from Britain, but we're gonna take out something in California. That was a comment right there. That was commentary.
Definitely. So okay. I mean, I give it like a 3.6. I'm almost there.
Good.
Yeah.
Stay there.
And actually, my favorite character was the weird limo. Actually, no, my favorite character was the son, the weak son.
The weak son.
That was obsessed with Penelope.
See, I was obsessed with
But my second one
Penelope
was
and
the limo driver.
and the limo driver.
Yeah.
His accent was.
And he just had the most interesting look.
He did. He really is.
He's the ugliest
he
man
did.
there.
He was obviously the ugliest man there by a long degree. So, well, that was amazing, and we've actually put out 2 really good episodes this time.
Of course. We're awesome.
Just that good. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, follow us, and, of course, like us. We can be found on Podbean, which is an amazing app, YouTube, Stitcher, Alexa on any pod, iTunes, Google Play. We're on Twitter as well, at DW Review, and, of course, Facebook. You can find us there. You can also email us at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com.